Hey everybody, what's up? Hope you're enjoying the conference so far. I apologize I couldn't make it. Luckily you have some other great panelists over here. Todd Malicote, Stephen Spencer Stephen. I always get his name mixed up. Anyway, so buying domains for SEO value. In 2004, I was listening to Chris Ramonde on a panel, and he started talking about how there were all these domains out there that had expired but were linked to by government, military, and EDU websites. And for those of you in the audience, most of you should probably understand some basic SEO, but if you don't, the value of an educational, military, or government website linking to a site is generally more trusted than a .com or .net or .org, at least back in 2004, 2005. So, you know, we all listened, and a lot of people either kind of laughed it off or, you know, didn't really take Chris seriously. And I kind of inquired more questions. I said, you know, how many of these do you think there are? You know, blah, blah, blah. And he, you know, basically people just kind of sort of laughed at me and said, yeah, there's probably not very many out there. Well, I came home and I started doing some research and worked with another guy whose name was Jason Golad. And he's not very well known, but a very, very smart person. Anyway, so we started talking about how can we find these domains that are out there that have expired and are just sitting in limbo but have links from EDU, military and government websites. So what we did is we built a spider that would basically, using Google, Yahoo, and some other search engines, would find EDU pages given a criteria, and then spider those for outbound links. Then on those outbound links, it would check them to see if the page existed. If it didn't, then it would do who is on the domain, and if the domain wasn't registered, it would then throw them into a database. Once in that database, it would perform various checks, like how many backlinks does it show in Yahoo. And then we would also check, you know, is it in the Yahoo directory? Is it in the DMOZ directory? Any of these other directories? And before we know it, I want to say we were doing it probably a month and a half. We had over 1,500 domains that were out there in the wild that were completely unregistered but had amazing links. And I'm talking like, I don't know if any of you remember, but there was actually a cult called the Raelians who had claimed to have cloned a human. This would have been in 2003, 2004. And, well, they let their domain lapse after 2 years. And it was just sitting out there. It had something like 1,800 EDU links, and we registered it. You know, and we put up like ringtone offers and stuff like that on it, and it ranked really well. So we were with all these domains, we were doing extremely well back in, let's see, it would have been like 2004, 2005, and dominating a lot of niche markets just with these expired domains. So what did that really tell us? Well, the one thing a lot of people thought, because people were really digging into the Google trademarks, and they were saying, well, once a domain's expired, or I'm not sorry, not the Google trademarks, the Google patents that they had filed, that actually said that when a domain had expired, it kind of reset in so many terms. So the one thing our experience had showed us was definitely that Google had almost given weight to the age of links and not so much the age of the domain, because we were registered a domain, they were only, you know, days old, and they would have tons of index pages, tons, and they would get in keyword traffic. I mean, within a week. Now keep in mind, this was years ago. This was 2005-ish, late 2004, early 2005. So, you know, it was truly, truly amazing just to register these domains, and all of a sudden, bang! It really kind of showed us that, you know, it was always thought that it was the domain age that was the big important thing. And I still kind of disagree with that. I think it's more of the link age and how long the links have been in place, because and this is something that actually, you know, the one thing throughout this panel you should keep in mind is what's not really kind of basic bread and butter SEO has a very limited shelf life. So some of the stuff we're talking about, or that I'm especially talking about, you know, it still works today. Like the link age stuff, it still seems that Google and Yahoo and Microsoft all give older links a good value, more so than really the age of the domain. Okay, so that was something that we learned from our experience in registering these. Now, fast forward 2 or 3 years, they slowly started dying off, and we're still registering them. For instance, I just found one 6 months ago that was Joe Lieberman's 2004 presidential campaign domain. It had expired. It was 4 years old. It had expired. It had been expired 3 months, and it was just sitting in limbo. I'm not talking about park domains. I'm talking about actual domains that are out there in limbo. So I registered it. I made a blog about Joe Lieberman, and instantly it was first page Google results. I think it ranked 4th for Joe Lieberman. And then I switched it over to a niche. I'll just make something up because I don't really want to give it away. If somebody finds it, I'll be kind of embarrassed. But let's just say it was barbecue grills. So I made it Joe's Barbecue Grills. And within 3 or 4 days, it was completely delisted in Google. So, what that kind of told us is there's something going on with kind of either categorically or, staying in kind of the same niche zone. And we haven't quite pinpointed exactly what it is, but definitely it's not as easy as it used to be, where you could just register sites and throw whatever the hell you wanted on them and they would just rank great. So it might be some human, people reporting that, the site was re-registered and stuff like that. I think there's definitely a human element at play right now. But as I said earlier, there's also a limited shelf life on what you'll hear up here. So fast forward now, it's almost not even really worth our time to do the domain game. I've talked about this many times. People kind of laugh it off and stuff. It's been extremely profitable over the years. And I still think if you're looking for a niche site, they're out there. I mean, there's domains that are expired, just sitting out there that you can register for $7 and buy for SEO value, 301 the links. I mean, my blog ranked top 3 for really, really competitive poker terms. And a lot of that was because I was registering expired domains that people had used to spam the crap out of poker things, but then just let them lapse. I registered them, 301, like 400 of them to my blog, and all of a sudden my blog is ranking top 3 for like online poker and everything like that. Me being stupid at the time, I thought it was just funny, so I blogged about it. Next thing I know, my blog is delisted in Google. And that lasted for about 2.5 years until last August or so. And then I finally had a reprieve from Google, and now back in the search engines. So you want to be careful in 301ing a lot. If you buy domains that are expired or parked that have a lot of good links, you want to wait to, just slowly 301 the links. Don't do it like right overnight. I think it does set off some alarms to do, thousands of links, obviously. So, there's many domains out there still that are expired to this day that have great links to them. Now, you might not pick up like the keyword value, but definitely the PR value. I think the page rank flows, but the anchor text might not. That's just my experience and what we've seen. So now, we've kind of evolved into buying more domains for branding, and not so much for SEO. As I've said, the value of SEO has fallen a little bit year after year, and I continue to see that trend going. So, we try not to focus on spammy word domains and more on branding. So I recently started a company, fighters.com. I started a company last year called Auction Ads. Those domains, we paid a lot for them. Auction Ads, I believe we paid $9,000 for that. Fighters.com, don't think we're disclosing what we paid for that, but I can tell you it was between $50,000 and $100,000. They're more for branding. Yes, the keyword matching is there, but that's really the main thing is like if you can get the keyword domain and it's an exact match like Fighters for fighters.com or Auction Ads if you have Auction Ads, then that is almost priceless, for what you're doing. So, keep that in mind. Well, again, apologize that I couldn't be there with you. I hope I've given you something to think about, and enjoy the other panelists.